Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not just doing a standard overview. Instead, we're opening up a strategic playbook, and it's designed specifically for you, current and aspiring FIFA technical directors, technical leaders, and football development managers. If you've ever wondered what separates organizations that just kind of function from the ones that truly thrive and leave a lasting legacy, well, you're absolutely in the right place. We are turning the FIFA Training Center course, Understanding Your Strategy, into a full-on dynamic masterclass. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Can you explain your football strategy clearly in just 1 minute? It sounds like a simple question, right? But honestly, it's a massive challenge. Ask yourself, does your daily operational work actually align with a long-term vision? Or are you just kind of managing the day-to-day grind? Today, we're going to figure out exactly how to bridge that gap.
So, here's our roadmap for today's masterclass. First, the foundation of strategy. Second, building the 4 pillars. Third, leading with the 3 R's. Fourth, agility in changing times. And finally, your leadership challenge. We're moving from theory straight to real-world execution.
Part 1. The foundation of strategy and how to build your strategic base. Because great technical directors don't just manage programs, they literally build the future of football in their country.
So the crucial point is, your strategy provides the direction for absolutely every single football development activity you do. To build a solid foundation, you've got to be able to answer 5 core questions. Where are we today? Where do we want to go? What is most important right now? How should we use our limited resources to get there? And critically, how will we actually know if we're succeeding? You know, if your decisions aren't answering these 5 questions, you're kind of flying blind.
And I really cannot stress this enough. A successful strategy absolutely has to fit the reality of your specific organization. You can't just copy-paste what another country is doing and expect it to magically work for you. You have to build an authentic strategy, one that's rooted in your country's unique football culture, the resources you actually have, and your specific stakeholders. Copying completely ignores local context, but authenticity, that's what breeds sustainable success.
Moving into part 2, building the 4 pillars. And we're going to look at a fantastic case study from the Scottish FA, led by Chief Football Officer Andy Gould.
To really understand how to organize an authentic strategy around clear priorities, Andy Gould gives us this incredible insight. He says, all of our work falls from that strategy and those 4 key pillars. I think the technical director role needs to make sure there is a balance across all of the key issues and areas. I absolutely love that quote. It perfectly captures the role. You have to maintain this holistic bird's-eye view of your whole organization, because if one pillar crumbles, the whole structure goes down. Balance is everything here. Let's move to and see how this builds into the Scottish FA's actual strategy. They've structured their football department around 4 sequential pillars. 1. Grassroots football. 2. Girls and women's football. 3. Coach education and development. And 4. National teams and elite youth. Let's break down exactly why these 4 pillars are the absolute bedrock of their long-term vision.
So looking at the first 2 pillars, they are entirely about participation and growth. Grassroots is the absolute foundation, getting as many people playing and loving the game as possible. That creates your future player pathway. Then you have girls and women's football. And this isn't just about expanding participation, it's a vital, rapidly growing part of the sport that requires dedicated talent identification and tailored development programs to really ensure sustainable growth.
Now, pillars 3 and 4 pivot towards elevation and elite performance. Think of coach education as your ultimate force multiplier. By investing in better coaches, from the grassroots all the way up, you inevitably create better players. And that seamlessly feeds right into the 4th pillar, elite youth and national teams. The goal isn't just spotting potential. It's about using those highly educated coaches to build high-performance environments, which gives your top youth players a really clear pathway to transition straight into the senior national squads.
All right, part 3, leading with the 3 R's. This is our execution framework. Because having great pillars is nice, but actually executing them requires a constant evaluation of your resources. So ask yourself these 3 essential leadership questions right now. Do we have enough resources in a particular area? What additional resources do we actually require? And crucially, should we reallocate resources to or from different priorities? Take a second to just think about your own association's resource allocation. As a technical director, it's basically your job to constantly weigh those scales. And this brilliantly illustrates Andy Gould's 3 R's framework to manage all this. Reflect, reprioritize, and reposition. First up, reflect. You have to literally schedule time to step away from the daily doing just to review your progress. Second, reprioritize. Say your national teams need a boost. Well, you might need to dial up the focus on that specific pillar for a bit. And third, reposition. You have to constantly check your overarching direction against your core strategy. And hey, shifting that direction, repositioning, that's a sign of really strong, attentive leadership. It's definitely not a failure.
So the major takeaway here is that your strategy is never just a static document collecting dust on a shelf. It requires constant, active evolution. As a technical director, you've got to continuously use tools, like the ones in the FIFA Training Center module on strategic planning, to evaluate and adjust your trajectory on the fly.
Which brings us to part 4, agility in changing times, or how to adapt under pressure. Because even the best laid plans are going to hit some unexpected real-world friction.
True leadership gets tested during a crisis. Let's look at the ultimate example of real-world friction, the COVID-19 pandemic. Back in 2019, the Scottish FA relied entirely on traditional, in-person coach education. When the pandemic hit in 2020, their business continuity was under massive threat. But instead of just pausing their strategy and waiting it out, they demonstrated incredible, rapid problem-solving. By 2021, they executed an agile pivot to fully online coach education courses. They adapted the how without ever losing sight of their long-term developmental goals.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that these aren't just corporate buzzwords. These are literal survival skills for your strategy. Thinking on your feet, rapid decision-making, technological innovation, organizational agility, and deep resilience. These specific traits are exactly what allow great organizations to keep their strategic pillars moving forward, even when they're staring down massive, totally unforeseen challenges.
And that leads us into part 5, your leadership challenge and continuous evaluation. Let's turn all these frameworks into some actionable steps for you.
So we've covered the theory, the pillars, the framework, and crisis management. Now, to successfully align your people, your priorities, and your resources, you have to continually develop these core competencies. You need strategic thinking paired with a long-term vision. You need deep organizational awareness to really grasp your unique context. You've got to master resource management, maintain adaptability and resilience, and above all else, you need effective communication to keep everybody pulling in the exact same direction. I really want to leave you with this powerful reminder. Great technical directors never allow strategy to become a document that sits on a shelf. Strategy is a living, breathing entity. It's something you lead, it's something you live, and it's something you continuously improve throughout your entire career in football leadership. To wrap up this explainer, I'm issuing you Andy Gould's ultimate test, the 50-word challenge. Think about your own organization right now. Can you summarize your football strategy clearly and effectively in no more than 50 words? If you can't, well, it might be time to reflect, reprioritize, and reposition. Take this challenge back to your association. Keep pushing the boundaries of your development. And thank you so much for joining me for this masterclass on The Explainer.